Hello there, and welcome to Security Nuggets Podcast, your one-stop channel for security risk management insights to help you and your organization achieve security and safety excellence. And I'm your host, Ashley, your security consultant. Now, in this episode, we are going to be engaging on situational awareness as a strategy for counterterrorism. Now, terrorism is a common word for most of us, I'm sure, because the act of terrorism has become quite predominant in most parts of the globe. Now, let's start off by defining what terrorism is so that we can be on the same page. Now, terrorism is a threat of violence carried out for ideological objective with the name of instilling fear, anger, shock, outrage, and demoralization to a target population. Terrorists can carry this form of violent attack through ID explosions. They can carry out these threat attacks through marauding firearm terrorist attacks. Shooter attacks fall under that. Or they can either do this through chemical, biological, or radiological terrorism. Your organization may not be a target to terrorism threats. And this is very much established when you conduct a security risk assessment as an organization. You're able to measure the likelihood rate. Is the likelihood rate high for terrorism threat in your organization? Or is it low for a terrorist threat in your organization, right? And once you have established that it is low, then the mitigation levels you need to deploy, or the precaution measures you need to deploy, all right? Then don't have to be of high magnitude, right? You don't have to spend so much or invest so much on those mitigation action plans. But one thing is for sure, and I think we can all agree on this, is that awareness and training of terrorism is a baseline mandatory for all organizations, because your staff, when they're out there frequenting public places like shopping malls, which are known to be target for terrorists, based on the historical data and based on the open source intelligence, we know for a fact that terrorists like to target public places with high human capacity. Because when they do their activity, when they do their terrorism activity, they want to instill fear through the high magnitude of damage, right? They want to cause many deaths. They want to injure many people. They want high rate of this. They want high levels of distraction. Okay, so your employees and your staff will be going to those shopping malls. They'll be going to those hotels, which are also targets. We know that from historical data, and also places like educational institutions. Okay, so while you may not be compelled to invest heavily on that threat because you've established it to be a low threat for your organization, you may want to empower your employees and give them the necessary knowledge and skills so that when they're out there and they come in view of a terrorist activity, they know how to handle it, okay? So that they are not harmed, right? And so that they can get out of it with as minimal harm and damage as possible. So you have a responsibility as an organization to provide that baseline training. You have that responsibility. Again, due to the magnitude of the threat, it is no longer a problem of our security state agencies. We are not going to wash our hands and say terrorism is a problem of our government, is a problem of our security state agencies. No. It is a problem for us all. It's a problem for the organizations. It's a problem for our communities. It's a problem for our staff. It's a problem for everybody, okay? And because of the magnitude, the damage, okay, the damage it inflicts, it requires a holistic approach that has to involve everybody. It has to involve everybody, okay? So my point is, even if the threat of terrorism rates low for your organization and you may not be a direct target, one way or another, you can be an indirect target, okay? Your employees can be caught in the crossfire depending on where they might be, and there's a terrorist activity, right? Uh, that terrorist activity could cripple critical infrastructures within your area of operation, crippling your business indirectly, crippling your service delivery, okay? So we can no longer sit back and say, no, terrorism is not our problem because it's a government problem. No. Organizations have a responsibility, all right? And I know a lot of organizations have taken up the initiative to train their employees on counter-terrorism. They've taken the initiative to put the required mitigation action plans within their organizations, okay? Even if they are baseline, okay? Even if they're just basic standard mitigation action plans, they've put them in place, all right? Such as screening vehicles when they're coming in and into the organization, screening people when they're coming into the organization, just having those stringent access control measures and screenings going on within your main entry points. Those are baseline. Those are baseline security precaution standards, and they're very much important, okay? I know most organizations are doing this, all right? But all organizations need to take initiative one way or another. And it starts from creating awareness and training your employees. It starts from there, okay? And that is how situational awareness comes in play. That is how situational awareness comes in play. And in this episode, I want us to look at two aspects whereby we can really optimize on situational awareness and get a lot of benefit towards countering terrorism. Terrorists are deliberate, organized, and systematic, which means that as organizations, we also need to be very strategic in countering terrorism. And one of the ways for us to do this is by being strategic in our countering terrorism strategies, and also leveraging on the holistic approach, which means that we are partnering and collaborating with internal and external stakeholders within our organizations. We are collaborating with our staffs. We are collaborating with our security state agencies. We are collaborating with our communities. Basically, we are taking that holistic approach, all right, to help us counter this menace of terrorism, okay? And I want us to engage on two critical aspects that we can get to enhance and improve when we are optimizing on situation awareness, okay? Now, one of that is increasing on terrorism activity detection, all right? By using situational awareness, as organizations, we can increase the rate of detecting terrorism activity, okay? Now, by increasing detection, all right, we are actually increasing the chance of thwarting terrorism activity. For us to be able to neutralize a potential terrorist activities, we need to have detected it in advance. We need to have detected it in advance and responded and neutralized it and thwarted the terrorist efforts to actualize that terrorism threat, all right? So by using situational awareness, we can be able to, one, acquire as much intelligence information as possible. And remember, we are working together with other stakeholders. We are taking that holistic approach. We are working together with communities. We are working together with our internal stakeholders, our employees, our contractors. We are working together with security state agencies. to share as much relevant information as possible, whereby suspicious activity associated with terrorism is being shared. All right. Now, when it comes to acquiring intelligence and information, that is a very key component in thwarting any form of threat. And on this particular episode, because we are talking about terrorism, let's take a minute and see how that can come in play, all right? Now, for instance, I'll give an example, all right? If we are an organization that is collaborating and partnering with our neighboring community to counter terrorism, all right? We can count on that community sharing as much information as possible with us when they detect any suspicious activity that may be associated with terrorism. Okay? Now, there are so many reasons why terrorisms are being able to conduct their terrorism activities and they're being able to survive. For instance, one of that is radicalization. When it comes to radicalization, terrorists use it to radicalize the people within our communities and the youth within our communities. They radicalize them so that they can start to act in line with their ideologies. We can count on the communities to help us identify suspicious activity associated to radicalization of people within the community, youth within the community, all right? And they can help us by sharing as much intel and information with us as possible, okay? When we get information that there's an activity of radicalization within our neighboring community and that our youth and people within our neighboring community are being targeted to radicalization, all right? By us just knowing that information and being able to share that information with our security state agencies, all right, then we are able to get to the root cause and we are able to mitigate together holistically, all right? And why terrorists use radicalization is because of the societal factors within some of our communities, whereby we have poverty, we have economical issues that are associated with financial struggles, that are also associated with the lack of employment and job opportunities. We have people who are jobless and they need an income, all right? So terrorists will use that to radicalize them because they will pay them to join their terrorism groups and activities. They will pay them to carry out those terrorist activities, all right? Now, before those activities can be actualized by people within our communities who have been radicalized, we have an opportunity as an organization to thwart those efforts, okay? By making sure that we are sharing knowledge and awareness, terrorism knowledge and awareness with our neighboring communities so that they can be able to know what to detect, what to monitor, what suspicious activity to detect and to monitor and to report, all right? And I don't think we really take advantage of collaborations with our neighboring communities as much as we should. Information acquiring and intelligence sharing and information sharing is an asset that, as a security department within an organization, we should take advantage of that. It's an asset. If you can get a credible source of intel and information from your neighboring community, regarding to any threat whatsoever. On this, because we're talking about terrorism, let's focus on terrorism. If you can get a credible source of information or a credible source of intel within your neighboring community to let you know that there is suspicious activity pertaining a terrorism act or threat, and you are able to get that information as an organization, and you are able to escalate that information to a security state agency, and you are together able to thwart and neutralize that before it happens. Don't you think that that is a big plus? Don't you think that that is a very good thing and it works to your advantage? Knowing so, then we should leverage on that, okay? We should use situational awareness to empower our neighboring communities by giving them the necessary counter-terrorism information, by giving them the necessary counter-terrorism knowledge and training, so they can be able to know what to detect, what stands out, what is anomaly, what is looking suspicious. Okay. Now, by us having that partnership going, and by us extending counterterrorism training, extending it outside our organizations, whereby we are not just training our employees, we are even training our community, our neighboring community. We are training our neighboring community leaders on counterterrorism so that they can cascade that information downwards, their communities, to everybody, so that everybody knows that this and that is what we are looking for. If we spot this activity, it is a terrorism activity, and this is what we need to report. All right. That is something that we should take advantage of. Okay. And we can leverage on situational awareness to heighten on terror awareness within our neighboring communities. All right. So that any suspicious activity is not going undetected. It is not going unseen. All right. And it is not going unreported. That is what situational awareness does. It heightens awareness. It's a skill. It's a skill that makes one heighten their awareness levels. You are able to spot things very quickly. You're able to observe anomalies very quickly, and you're able to see any anomaly or suspicious activity happening, or that has potential to happen, and you're able to contextualize that with whatever training you have, or with whatever threat that you have been trained or made aware of, and you're able to report that very quickly. Situational awareness can also be used to increase detection in as far as detecting hostile reconnaissance is concerned, all right? Now, before any terrorist activity is conducted, terrorists do their due diligence. They do their pre-planning survey. They come and do their planning survey. They will check out the potential target in advance, all right? They will send people to come and observe activities within the potential target area. They will check out the activities that are happening there, the operations that are happening there. They will even sketch the layout of the target area. If it's a building, they will sketch it out. They will take photographs. They will take videographies, all right? So they will properly do their due diligence, all right? Because they need that information to go to the next level, to go to the next stage, all right? They need to profile the target. They need to profile the potential target to get to the other stage of their planning, all right? Which is to establish what type of terrorist activity, or what type of method are they going to use in their terrorist attack, in their threat of violence. What type are they going to use? IEDs? Are they going to use shooter attacks? What type is ideal for that potential target? Okay. They will also check out your security measures. They check out that potential target security precautions. How effective are they? Sometimes they will even test them. They will probably trigger a false alarm. to see how quick that alarm is going to be responded to. Okay? Sometimes they will even enter the target area. If you don't have stringent security access control measures, they will infiltrate and enter and check it out properly from the inside. In profiling the potential target of attack, they do so much in the prepare planning stage. And this is what we are calling the hostile reconnaissance. They are doing their hostile reconnaissance. And this is the right time to detect that hostile reconnaissance. If your employees can be able to detect this hostile reconnaissance activity, then they are increasing the chances of detection and increasing the chance of thwarting. So employees need to be trained and they need to be made aware of these things, okay, during the counter-terrorism training and awareness. They need to be told, they need to be made aware of the things to look out for, all right? And we can use situation awareness again here to increase and heighten their awareness. For instance, some of this hostile reconnaissance activity may look like this, okay? I'll give a few examples of what you should train your employees and staff on what to look out for and your security team, okay? For instance, a vehicle has been parked outside your organization premise for a long time. And it's probably having one or more people inside. And they've been parked for a very long time, which is quite abnormal. All right. Rarely do you see a vehicle parked somewhere with people inside for so many hours for a long time. They must be doing something, right? Usually a vehicle parked with no one inside, we kind of see like that is quite normal. And again, it might not be normal if it is not a parking area. It could be a vehicle that has IDs inside, you know. So it also stands out to be another suspicious sighting. All right. So when you see a vehicle parked somewhere for too long than it's supposed to be, and there are people inside, you better report this. It is suspicious. It's not normal, okay? And if you see a vehicle parked somewhere and it's not a normal parking site, vehicles are not allowed to be parked there. It's abnormal for vehicles to be parked there. Then it is also another abnormal sighting that needs to be reported, okay? If you see someone loitering somewhere where they're unauthorized to be, and they're standing there for a long time, or they're loitering for a long time for no apparent reason, they could be conducting their hostile reconnaissance. So that is an abnormal sighting. It is an anomaly that needs to be reported. When you see a luggage that's unattended, left somewhere for a very long time, that is something that needs to be reported. When someone asks so many questions relating to your organization routine activities, your organization employees, or if you're an organization that gets VIPs, if they're asking so many questions regarding your operations and activities, that is not normal. They could be conducting their hostile reconnaissance. So you need to report that needs to be reported as a suspicious activity. It's not a normal sighting. They are doing what we call social engineering. They're trying to get as much information from your employees as possible, all right? So sometimes they will, I had mentioned before, they will test your security measures. They will come to your organization and try to access it through your main entrance point. They will ask your guards questions. They want to see how strict your guards are, how professional they are. We've had cases in the past where we had terrorists access facilities and institutions through a main entrance where we had security personnel, and they were able to infiltrate. They infiltrated. So they do their due diligence. It's part of their hostile reconnaissance. They are doing their due diligence. They want to know how serious the security measures are, how are they effective? Can they breach them? Can they circumvent them? Okay. So these are the things that you as an organization need to train your employees, and by extension, let this information be shared with your neighboring communities as well. All right. So that they can increase the chances of detection. And by also optimizing on situational awareness, they are heightened, their senses are heightened. They're like on guard, on alert. They're very vigilant and proactive. If they see anything suspicious, they are not slow to making a decision. They are quick to act. The second aspect that we can get to use situational awareness in countering terrorism is on the aspect of responding. Situational awareness is a skill that's required when it comes to responding to emergencies. When a terrorist activity is actualized and it happens, the impact is usually so severe. We have so many injuries, we have people may die, buildings are destroyed. So it's a crisis. And situational awareness is required as a skill to help those fast responders, or to help anybody who is in that environment, who needs to get out or who needs to provide assistance. Okay? Situational awareness, in this case of a terrorism activity, it would help the fast responders to effectively respond to such a scenario, whereby they would be quick in making decisions when they are helping people. They would be quick in making decisions when they are evacuating victims, all right? They would be quick in making decisions when it comes to reporting any anomalies or any suspicious behavior in the process of neutralizing the situation, in the process of apprehending the terrorists. So response becomes another critical aspect where situational awareness needs to be incorporated when you're providing that terrorism awareness. Whether you're doing it to your internal staff or whether you're doing it by extension to the community that is neighboring you as an organization, by empowering them with the counter-terrorism awareness and incorporating that with situational awareness, you're heightening skills here. If you have had a chance to watch and listen and engage with me over the last couple of episodes, we've covered on situational awareness when dealing with emergency and crisis management. We covered this in broad, how situational awareness enhances the fast responder skills or the staff and employee skills when it comes to responding to emergencies and disasters and crises. In correlation, when it comes to terrorism, it's the same thing. Situational awareness can be used so that it can increase decision-making during such scenarios. It can increase a reaction in such a scenarios, okay? And in this case, it comes in very handy for fast responders, okay? It comes in very handy. So if you're training your employees as fast responders, if you have a security team and you're training them on first aid and emergencies and fast responding in crisis, this is an area that also needs to be included. So again, situational awareness can be a valuable tool for us to optimize on and benefit from as organizations during a crisis such as a terrorism threat, if it was to actualize within our organizations, or if it was to actualize anywhere else where we would be indirectly impacted, we would know how to deal with it. We would know how to respond to it, okay? I really hope that it's been another enlightening episode for you. And if you have found it insightful, kindly like and share. Subscribe if you haven't done that already, so that you can continue to be part of our Security Nuggets podcast community, and you can be able to keep in touch with whatever episodes that we are sharing and publishing every weekly. Until our next episode, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.